You guys you'll be trading with China, and this has been a big issue across the country, international trade, especially with China with their economy booming like it is. Can you comment a little bit about that, on trade between the United States and China?
Well, there is definitely an imbalance, I think, as far as trade between the United States and China. I think that we need to have more products that can be exported to China. One of the things that I'm looking at as far as our particular type of product is actually looking at byproducts from the corn farmers and sorghum farming and sugarcane farming here in the U.S. to see about exporting those type of materials to China to be able to utilize those products as to make into pulp. Okay, to be used for the bagasse, on the cornstarch and potato starch. That would be another issue which we would need to take a look at. I feel that we should have much more possible trade of products being exported to China. But on the other hand, it's up to our country to be able to take and find those products which is necessary for the China people over there that are interested in products that we have here that are in the U.S. to go to China.
Can you see any direct consequences with there being that imbalance of trade in this country?
Well, there's some things that consumers naturally a lot of them don't like the idea of having to buy products from China, especially with some of the issues that's been going on lately with products coming into China or coming into the U.S. from China that may have some bearing of problems. I know that the U.S. government has cracked down on some things. You know, it's just like China cracks down on some things that we send over to China. So it's kind of a tit-or-tat type of situation, you know?
Yeah, you want to talk about, I guess President Bush was just saying that we're going to crack down hard on some of these items coming in, that there are certain standards that go along with it. And speaking of that level, how do you think that trade with China or international trade will play an issue in the upcoming presidential election in 2008?
That's kind of hard to determine at this point. However, I think that Bush is looking at cracking down on things, but on the other hand, you know, I believe in fair trade both ways. You know, what we bring in, we should be able to take and export back out as well. Not only for China, but other countries as well. You know, I have some feeling that you know, we may be unduly being a little bit on the hard-nosed side of things. I think that they need to take and look at things in a more diplomatic manner to determine if there's some possible solutions that could be resolved, you know, between both countries, rather than saying, okay, if you don't do this, we're going to do that, you know. So.
And there's such different countries and different economies that there's going to be, it's complex and challenging. But have you thought of any, solutions, I guess, or any recommendations as far as what the two countries can do to reach a better agreement there?
Well, I think for one that you know, going to China is not that difficult anymore. Like going into some of the other countries, I think that our government officials should actually take and make some trips to China and see China firsthand. They'll see a whole different China than what they may think that they may see otherwise.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking about the other day, in fact, about jobs going across, outsourcing jobs and things like that. And I think you had a few things to say about that, about the tax base. And do you want to comment about that quickly?
Yeah, well, that's a whole different sort of thing. I think that one of the things that has happened is they're outsourcing too many jobs to India and other countries, which actually take away our tax-based dollars here. Not only that, but it puts a lot of people out in unemployment here in our country, which is bolstering their employment and economy in their country, and we're not getting the tax benefits for that. Which, if you notice, our paved roads are not being as well taken care of. Our parks aren't being as well taken care of. Even some of our government buildings are not as well being taken care of. They need to take and do something to create some form of a balance. If they're going to export jobs to other countries, then these companies that are exporting these jobs to other countries should have to take and pay some form of tax liabilities due to those particular cases. We talk about unemployment here as being somewhere around 4.5% to 5% nationwide. That's what's on the rolls. Okay, if you take and you really look at what the actual unemployment rate possibly is, it's probably closer to 40 or 50%, maybe a little bit less. But when they crack down on sending all these jobs overseas, and then they take and they turn around and don't provide jobs for these folks that are unemployed, they either have to go into business for themselves, or they keep looking for employment without being able to find it in many respects.
And that probably has something to do with the 37 million Americans that are living in poverty right now.
Very true.
So, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but let's say it was November 2008. Any kind of picks as far as who you'd vote for? It's kind of early on.
Well, it's kind of a toss-up between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, but if I was to make any definitive choices, I will probably vote for Hillary if it's between Hillary and Obama. I will not vote Republican this time, even though I am a registered Republican.
Well, just out of curiosity, why is that?
Because I think that they have done a very disservice to our country in the past 8 years.
Because of the entering of the war in Iraq?
Yes, because of the entry of the war in Iraq, and also not doing something to build up our employment and our economy here in this country. They say that they are. I have to see it.
So you'd say it's time for a change?
It's definitely time for a change.
Mr. Brown, I appreciate it very much.
Sure thing.
Thanks so much.
Uh-huh.